Okay, and just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of the first work week, Monday through Friday, in the new studio. What do you all think? I think it's coming along nice. I think I say that in every video. It's coming along. It's coming along. But no, so we have some totes here with precious organization. Look how organized everything is. I put labels on things. Okay? So, you know, if I want something stationary, I go over to the stationary container and open it up, and it's like, oh look, there's a glue stick whenever I need a glue stick. There we go. Freaking magic, right? Okay. We also have the new backdrop for the reviews over there. Looks very, very sexy. We have the Yonko wanted posters. These are all new wanted posters I ordered. But we have the Yonko, we have Luffy, we have Roger, and then the Straw Hats around the perimeter. I had to choose very expertly, you know, and decisively which Straw Hats, because you're not going to be able to see all of them. Like, you're not going to see this whole thing when I do the reviews. So, yeah, I had to put Zoro and Sanji on the top, right? And Luffy, obviously. But then I had to decide, all right, who's going to go right below them? And I'm like, well, Nami and Robin, obviously. I mean, that's just hard science. That's sex appeal right there, okay? And then everybody else goes on the bottom. But, yeah. So, today, Barry's special guest star is a Drill-sama, who might, in fact, actually be stronger than Barry. Actually, hold on a second. Yeah, right here. When coupled with the masonry drill bit set, this is Barry's ultimate rival. We're introducing so much lore into my show today, and I never even thought I would have lore, but I'm happy I'm here. Okay. So for today, I have just kind of a short video for you. At least I think it's a short video. It might end up being 35 minutes long. I don't know. I guess we'll see when we get to the end of it. So I was going through all the different fights that are currently happening in Onigashima, right? And we're actually starting to narrow these down. You know, obviously Oda is taking care of the more side fights, you know, first. So like Inuarashi fighting Jack, Nekomamushi against that weird guy with the candy cane. Those kind of fights are going to be resolved first. The fights with the Tobiroppo, which I did think were going to last longer, but it's okay. It's okay. Because if anybody out there thinks that the Straw Hats, aside from, like, you know, obviously Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji are just done for the rest of the arc, well, this is the video for you. Okay. So, I'm going through all of the enemies remaining, right? Okay, so you got Kaido, you got Big Mom, you got the All-Stars, you know, Sans Jack, whatever. You got King and Queen, members of the All-Stars. But then I always forget about the numbers, and I think a lot of people forget about the numbers, and it's weird, considering, remember when the numbers first got introduced, where, you know, those kids from Wano Kuni were just watching the arrival of Scratchman Apu, and then the numbers just appear, and it's this super foggy mountainside, like in the mist, and you see these 10 ridiculously huge giants, like 10 Orzes, just walking through the mist, you know, just, whoa. Whoa, you know, they're coming, you know, like, okay, and so it's like, wow, they're giant monsters that are apparently all alcoholics. This is going to be awesome. This is going to be devastating. And most of them have been taken out with very, very minimal effort. For one thing, I think Oda really wants to display just how stronger the Straw Hats have gotten, not just from the time skip, but also everything that's happened since the time skip. So just to give you a brief refresher, the members of the numbers that have been defeated so far, we had number 4, Jockey, who was like the shortest member of the numbers. He was defeated by Frankie's Radical Beam. And then we have Goki, who was number 5, who was punched out by Luffy in Gear 4th. And then we have Juki, number 10, that was defeated by Drake. Then we had number 7, Nangi. He was one of the numbers that went with Jack to fight against the Mink tribe on top of the Skull Dome. So he was just defeated by all of the Minks in their Sulong form. We have Q-Yun, who was number 9, who was defeated by Brook alongside all the other members of Black Maria's little clique. Brook took out a number, and it wasn't even that big of a deal. It was like part of like an attack to take out a bunch of people at once, and one of the numbers just fell as well. That's, you know, pretty much how badass Brook is right there. You deserved your spot on the bottom row. Hey, don't say anything. Frankie's also on the bottom row. I had to prioritize. Nami and Robin had to be within the frame, okay? They have to be, right? It's like a law somewhere. Anyway, and then we had, there was one more, Hacha. Hacha, the one that we got to see the most. Hacha was defeated by Yamato, okay? So, right there, we had actually, like, Frankie Frankie himself took out just one of the numbers, which comparable maybe to even Ors in terms of power. It took all of the Straw Hats together to take out one Ors during Thriller Bark, and now we have individual members of the Straw Hats being able to take out, you know, Ors-sized enemies, and it's not even that big of a deal, okay? So you might be thinking for that reason, maybe the numbers aren't that strong. They're just size, and that's it. And the Straw Hats, it doesn't matter how big an enemy is, you know, unless they have Haki, unless they have a powerful Devil Fruit, unless they have some special ability, size is nothing. You know, one Kong gun from Luffy charged up with Ryuo is going to floor them, and there's really nothing they can do about it. So that's what I think Oda wants you to think. I think partly the reason Oda introduced the numbers and the fact that there's 10 of them is to be like, okay, some of them are just going to be fodder. Some of them are going to be pretty weak compared to the Straw Hats, and just to show how strong the Straw Hats are. But I think because of such a great writer that Oda is, he's like, I'm going to keep a few of the numbers, though, sort of in my back pocket, and sort of be like, okay, there's a few that are actually really, really strong, that can give the Straw Hats a pretty tough fight. There might be members of the numbers that can use Haki. There might be members that have Devil Fruit abilities and all that jazz, right? And so I just have to admit, and I've said this before, it's a little strange. So far, we have yet to see numbers 1, 2, or 3. Also number 6. Although I think number 6 is just going to be a regular number, you know, and the same power level as, like, the other ones we've seen so far. Who knows? Maybe, like, number 6 will walk out from one of the sides of the building, then Usopp will freak out. Like, Usopp's running through Onigashima and is like, man, I gotta find everybody. I gotta get out of here. And then a number just, whoa! He's like, ah! He just fires a slingshot in its face and just KOs it in one hit. Maybe hits it in the eye or something. Just like, oh, damn it! Boom! And he just falls and cracks his skull and just dies. And Usopp's like, I killed Ors! You know, like, there you go. I think that's probably what's going to be with number 6. But when it comes to numbers 1, 2, and 3, do not take them lightly, okay? Because if Bleach taught me anything, once you get to numbers 1, 2, and 3, it's a different ball game. I mean, you got a wolf guy and girl, and then you got a skeleton Grim Reaper sort of dude, and then you got a sexy shark lady, okay? One of the numbers is going to be a sexy shark lady, and you could take that, you could take my word for it right now. You could put that on my tombstone, all right? Matthew Crawford, 1993, 2074 or whatever. It just like, he thought one of the numbers was a sexy shark lady. Doesn't matter if it was right, doesn't matter if it was wrong, that's what I want to be on my tombstone, okay? But anyway, I'm thinking, though, that those numbers are reserved, and they're off doing something else, okay? It was mentioned that the numbers are all, like, big drunks, which maybe that also might have, like, inhibited their battle techniques a little bit there. Like, maybe they could have put up a bigger fight if they weren't, you know, completely sloshed, you know? So maybe they walk into the festival hall and they're like, oh, what's going on in here? And then Drake and Luffy do their combo attack. They're like, what? Boom! And they just get taken out, and now they're just, like, they might not be dead. They're probably just, like, unconscious right now, but they're probably not going to fight anymore. There was that little scene there where Apu could use his fighting music to revive them. That's another idea I had, that maybe Apu, you know, he could get back up and he can continue fighting, and he could use his music fruit in order, the Oto Otonomi, which we know the name of that now, and he can actually revive the numbers. So Apu's fight, if we ever actually get one of those, Apu's fight would be more of like him being like the puppet master manipulating the numbers as his like weapons, okay? But even then, I think it would only be numbers 4 through 10, okay? So numbers 1, 2, and 3, I think, are the very first numbers that were created on Punk Hazard. It was mentioned that Caesar Clown, this was one of his first, you know, experiments. Actually, Vegapunk. I think this was even before Caesar, because this experiment, the gigantification experiment, and, you know, creating weapons of destruction in terms of, like human weapons or giant weapons, I think the government has had their hand in this kind of particular soup for a while now. So Vegapunk was working on them. Remember, and there's a scene, and I keep forgetting this, and I remember when I rewatched Punk Hazard when it came out in the English dub, and I don't even remember reading this in the manga, but there was a scene in Punk Hazard when I think it was Nami and Usopp wander into one of the rooms on the island. It's like in the frozen section of Punk Hazard, and there was just like frozen giants and other sort of like abominations like frozen in the ice, like deep storage in Punk Hazard. And I don't remember that at all, but that's to indicate that that island had been there for a while as a research facility for the world government, and they might have created these creatures that they might have not have been able to control, or they were failures, and Vegapunk just kind of threw them into the freezer, and the numbers might have been like the best out of that group, okay? So let's say numbers 1, 2, and 3 are not drunks, or if they are drunks, they're not completely sloshed right now. Like, they're still sober, okay? What is the thing that was the huge detriment from the numbers? What is the thing, aside from being drunk, why they didn't, win? It's just like, well, first off, intelligence. The numbers don't seem to really be all that intelligent to really think about, like, who they're going up against or anything like that. Hacha was, like, even really stupid, like, attracted to shiny things. When Hacha saw the Frankie Shogun, Hacha was like, ooh, a shiny! And then started running at Frankie. So, not very intelligent. So let's say numbers 1, 2, and 3 are very intelligent. They at least have the intelligence. They won't be distracted by shiny things they see running around the festival hall. Can we at least agree on a baseline intelligence of that? Okay? They won't be like, all right, Straw Hats, it's time to squirrel! And then just runs away, right? We're not going to have that, okay? Also, when it comes to technique, they didn't really have much of anything. Hacha had a giant club that he just used to bash around. Once again, that might have been because he was drunk, but, like, I don't even think if he was sober, he would be pulling out super complicated techniques with his club or anything like that. So, numbers 1, 2, and 3, they're gonna have way better combat techniques. Like, can you imagine for a moment the devastation that could be wrought if one of the numbers was a master swordsman, or swordswoman, because number 9 was a woman as well. But, like, can you imagine that? Like, if one of the numbers walks out, this giant oars creature that has an equally large katana, which, hold on. Oh my god, I love having everything at the ready here. Having an equally giant katana and just stomping into the hall and just... Wait, hold on, let me try to get close to the camera. And then with just one slice, all of Onigashima just... like, the top half of Muffin Mountain just falls off, okay? Like, that would be insane. That would be incredible, and it could be possible as well, okay? Because the only thing you would really need is for one of the numbers to have a technique in swordsmanship, and also, I guess, an equally large katana. But this is Wano! If there was any place in all of Wano where there could be a giant katana that could be forged, it would be Wano. In fact, there already is a giant katana. Many of you might be bringing up the giant katana that was sitting in the front yard of Onigashima. Here's the thing, though. That sword is so freaking huge. I think it's even bigger than the numbers. The numbers, I think, are a little bit taller than oars, or maybe comparable to oars, so probably like somewhere between 65 and 75 meters. But the thing is, that sword that was in the front yard, I think that was like hundreds and hundreds of meters tall, because it was comparable in height to Onigashima itself. Like, it was Onigashima is a literal mountain. Like, all of the fights going on are inside Onigashima right now, so it's like comparable in size to a mountain. So I don't know how big that sword is, but I don't think one of the numbers could pick it up. But, still, for one of the numbers to have a sword equal in size, I mean, that would be pretty cool. And then, slashing everything apart, okay? What about hockey? There's nothing that says the numbers can't use hockey. It's stated that they were just, like, artificial beings created with ancient giant DNA. Maybe Vegapunk dug up a fossil or something of, like, oh, this is an ancient giant bone. I will infuse this with science. And he took some, like, captured prisoners the world government had and infused the DNA of the ancient giants into them, and then they turned into that. Hacha is confirmed, I think, to be, like, around 180 years old. So I'm not really sure exactly how you do that. I mean, it might not be actually experimenting with humans. It might have just been like a revival technology, like in Pokemon with the fossils. Like, Vegapunk finds an ancient giant fossil, Jurassic Parks it, uses some like other DNA to kind of fill the gaps or whatever. Vegapunk could not have been the one to create all of the numbers, because if Hacha is 180 years old, then that means that Vegapunk would have to be even older than that. And I will say that I did make a video talking about what if Vegapunk is some kind of cyborg that's been around for like 200-300 years. I mean, you might not be 100% on board with that, but you also can't just completely throw it out. If anybody in this series would be some kind of like 300-year-old cyborg, mad scientist, I mean, that's Vegapunk. I mean, that actually might be a very apt description of Vegapunk, you know what I mean? So, I'm sure the government had other scientists working for them 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 500 years ago. It's just that Vegapunk is the most advanced one and like the best of the best right now, but he might have been around for a very, very long time. Another idea I threw out there is because Karakuri Island, where Vegapunk is from, has the giant island with the spikes sticking out of it like Frankenstein's monster, like the electrodes. I was thinking like something like that would not take just a couple of years to make. He made all those cyborg animals to build it and construct it. Like that that probably would have taken decades in order to completely finalize, and he never even managed to make it work. So, you know, Vegapunk might be a lot older than we all think. You know, I was thinking he might be in his 70s or 80s. He might be like 300 years old and just advances his own lifespan with science and medicines and robotics. I mean, it could be very possible there. So don't completely rule it out that he was still the one that created Hotcha and the rest of the numbers. He's just older than they all are, right? Okay. So we have technique, we have intelligence, hockey. So yes, hockey, armament hockey, observation, maybe even conqueror's hockey. Can you imagine one of the numbers, like if Oars had conqueror's hockey? I don't think I need to go into much more detail than that. And then finally, devil fruits, okay? If they're just artificial ancient giants, they might still be able to consume devil fruits. And not even, well, okay. Oh, that is interesting. Okay. Here's an idea. I want you to think about this, okay? How many numbers are there? There's 10, right? That's the whole point. You know, there's 10 numbers. Okay. What is one trait that all of the numbers, at least we have seen so far, exhibit? Their laughter styles, right? Their laughter styles are indicative of their number. So Jockey is 4, so he's like ja, 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 ja. And Goki is 5, so he's go, 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 go. You know, that's like their laughter style, okay? Okay. What's the success-failure ratio rate for smiles? There you go. You got it. He got it. Oh, you got it. She got it. Everybody got it. Okay, there you go. All right. What if they took the 10 numbers, lined them up, gave them the smiles, the same experiment that the pleasures and the gifters got and everything like that. Success rate, 1 out of 10. So that means one of the numbers managed to receive a smile power, became a gifter basically, but he's a number, so different kind of status. But the others all are failures. But it doesn't matter that they're failures if they're pleasures, because they are giants. They're huge, ancient giants, for God's sake, right? So what if, let's say number 1, one of the numbers we haven't seen yet, number 1 consumed the smile and actually got the ability, the zone power, okay? And so now we have an ancient giant, like, animal hybrid, like an ancient giant buffalo, ancient giant shark, whatever. And then all the 9 remaining numbers, they're laughing all the damn time. That's what they're like, because they're always happy. They never seem sad or whatever. Sometimes, I guess Hotcha a few times seemed a little bit, but, you know, they were always laughing. So you might say that because they're drunk, or they're just, you know, they're having a rollicking good time, or it might be because they're all pleasures, technically, right? And so it doesn't matter, because like, normally it's like, oh, you have the fruits, oh, okay, the successes become gifters and they get promoted, the failures become pleasures, okay? But it doesn't matter. They're not going to get any weaker. They're numbers, for God's sake, right? So that's an idea. I just thought of that. 10 numbers and a 9-to-1 success fail rate for the smile fruits, okay? So that's an interesting one. We might still have the sexy shark lady. That might happen. That's the case with the smiles, but they could also still have regular devil fruits. Like, we could still get some dinosaur fruits in here. We could have ancient Ryuryunomis. Number 1 could have the Megalodon, the giant shark. Number 2 could have the Megalosaurus. Number 3 could have, the Titanus. I think that was a carrier Zord from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but whatever. The Quantum Saurus Rex ancient zone, right? You know, why not? We've already done all the crazy stuff with dinosaurs. We could keep doing that with this. Absolutely. Okay, so yeah, anyway, that's just the video I wanted to bring up. I think we're gonna have 7 out of the 10 numbers be defeated relatively easily, not get a lot of screen time, just for Oda to have some fun with their designs or whatever. But when we get to the top 3, and where are they right now? That's another question. Have they just been drunk the entire time? Or are they intelligent enough to sit back and wait for the opportunity to strike? Maybe they're somewhere in the depths of Onigashima in the dungeons, or they're outside or whatever. And they're smart, and they're like, you know, we're not gonna go and freaking get ourselves killed by all those strong fighters in there. Screw that. We're gonna wait until the numbers, so to speak, are, you know, lowered, and then they go in and just perform mop-up duty, right? It's like after the rebellion and all the samurai are weakened, that's when numbers 1, 2, and 3 show up, and they all just launch attacks at once, trying to take out the samurai. And then that right there is where you can have the Straw Hats, the other members of the Straw Hat crew get up to fight against 3 of the numbers. Once again, number 6, I know there's technically 4 that are left, but number 6 I don't think is going to be a problem whatsoever. So let's see here. Let's look at what we have to work with. Okay, so Luffy's fighting Kaido, Zoro's fighting King, Sanji's fighting Queen right now. Okay. So, we have 1, 2, 3, well, Chopper's in baby Gramps form right now, so if he can overcome that, maybe he can help out. 1, 2, 3, Frankie 4, Brook 5, Jinbei 6. Robin is, I guess, back in action now, but she's still very weak. It would actually make perfect sense if there were 6. So maybe we could take out either Chopper because he's in baby Gramps form, or we could take out Robin because she's weakened from her devil form. But if we have 6 Straw Hats left out of the group that can fight, we could have 2-on-1. For each of the numbers, okay? So like we could have Jinbei and Frankie go up against number 1. Then we could have Brook and Chopper go up against number 2, and then Usopp and Nami go up against number 3, and then like Robin cannot fight. I would rather, you know me, I would rather prefer Chopper to be out of the fight and Robin to fight. So maybe like Nami and Robin go up against one of the numbers, and then Usopp and Frankie, and then Brook and Jinbei. And so that'll give Oda another opportunity to really, you know, like, oh, okay, now we had, you know, Brook and Robin's fight, now we could have Brook and Jinbei to see how they fight together. Or we could have Usopp and Frankie fighting one of them. You know, like, that would be cool also. Because I really want to see another fight with the Straw Hats in this arc. And I think the numbers, honestly, are our last opportunity to really have that. But anyway, how long was this? It was over 20 minutes, so, you know, I have to cut some stuff out. But I guess that was short enough for me. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. This will be Tekking and Barry's ultimate rival, Drill-sama, signing out. Later, everyone.